So I came across an article the other day on the John Maxwell leadership website, and it got me thinking. The article really wasn't about success, it was about significance. And at first, those two words kind of sound pretty similar, right? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that they're actually very different. Most of us spend a good portion of our lives chasing success. We work hard, build a career, grow a business, provide for the families, pursue goals. And I believe we should strive for excellence in whatever God has called us to do. We should be faithful with our work, continue learning, do our best to use our talents well. But at some point, most people, I'm going to say, stop asking the question, how can I get more? But isn't there more to life than stuff? It makes me think about Madame Blueberry in the Stuff Mart and Veggie Tales, but that's a story for a different day. But the older I get, the more I think that question really matters. And this article talked about several ways we can give more than we take. Things like sharing what we've learned, encouraging others, opening doors, making introductions, sharing resources, creating opportunities that help other people grow. None of those things require a title, a platform, or even a large bank account. They simply require a willingness to invest in someone else. And as I read through the article, one word kept coming to mind: stewardship. The more I think about stewardship, the less I think it's about ownership. Stewardship is really about responsibility. It's recognizing that everything we have been entrusted to us by God for a season, for a reason. Our time, our family, our work, our finances, relationships, skills, experiences, even our influence. So the question isn't whether we have a lot or a little. The question really is, what are we doing with what we've been given? Success asks, what can I accomplish? Stewardship asks, what can I do with what I've been entrusted? Significance begins when we stop focusing only on ourselves and start looking for ways to help others move forward. Sometimes that looks like mentoring someone who's a few steps behind us. Sometimes it means encouraging a friend who's struggling. It may mean sharing a lesson we've learned the hard way so someone else can avoid the same mistake. And it could be as simple as making an introduction, lending a hand, spit that out, or taking the time to listen. And when I think about people who have had the greatest impact on my life, very few of them did so because they were wealthy, or they were famous, or they held an impressive title. Most of them simply took the time to invest in someone else. They shared what they knew, encouraged me when I needed it, opened doors when I couldn't open one myself, and they used their influence to help someone else succeed. That's significance. And the beautiful thing is that every one of us has opportunities to do the same thing. We all have influence somewhere. Maybe it's at work, in your family, maybe it's in your church, your neighborhood, with a friend who's carrying a burden nobody else sees. Whatever the situation, God has placed people in our path for a reason. As I reflected on the article, one question kept coming back to me. Where has God given you influence that you're not fully using? Maybe it's a conversation I've been putting off. Maybe it's knowledge I've gained through experience that could help someone else. Could be encouragement that someone desperately needs to hear. Could be something as simple as being available when someone else needs support. Significance doesn't usually happen through one moment. More often than not, it's through small acts of faithfulness over time. A conversation, a phone call, a cup of coffee, a word of encouragement, a helping hand. Small things that often have a bigger impact than what we realize. Success is good. Achievement is good. Excellence is good. But significance begins when we realize that what God has entrusted to us was never meant to stop with us. It was meant to flow through us. I'm going to say that again. Significance begins when we realize that what God has entrusted to us was never meant to stop with us. It was meant to flow through us. So that's the question I've been wrestling with this week. Where has God given me influence that I'm not fully using? And if you'd like to read the article that sparked these thoughts, you can find it at maxwellleadership.com. I'll have a link to it in the bottom description. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please reach out. Let me know what you're thinking after you read that article. Hope everybody has a great week.